Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. We have a tremendous wrestling card for you today here on All-Star Championship Wrestling, which, of course, features the world's greatest wrestlers.
My little itty-bitty bruiser buddies.
United States heavyweight champion, Bobo, Brazil. The world's heavyweight champion from the AWA, Nick Bockwinkel.
The Midwest supporting, bruiser loving, positivity spreading, world's most dangerous podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty as he supports and promotes Midwest pro wrestling. Keep on growing with the Midwest Express. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
Greetings and welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for joining us this week for another fun-filled and free episode of the Dave Dynasty Show. We are glad you're here. Whatever means you do listen to us on whatever platform, make sure whichever you do use that you subscribe to us, follow us. Make sure you share our episodes as well as all of our postings on social media. Here in a few minutes, we'll play a little ad bit for you to tell you where you can find us on social media. We're on all of them. We're fairly active. We do a lot of things. Post a lot of things about wrestling history. Support a lot of current wrestling. Some good stuff. So make sure you follow us on all of those platforms. And we got a good show for you today. We have an interview with a young up-and-comer named Jake Carter. This is a guy, you're going to want to know his name. You're going to want to keep it in mind because the kid's got a bright future. I say kid, but it's only because I'm an old guy. No disrespect meant to him. Just because I'm an old man. But he's got a big future ahead of him. And this is his first podcast experience. So we've done it a few times with some guys, right? Got them on board for their first ones. And I'm telling you, it's panned out well. I mean, we had Mance Warner on, doing Warner's Wisdoms for a long time before. The whole world knew who he was. And now the whole world knows who he is. We gave Brian Pillman Jr. his first podcast experience to tell his story. And now look where he's at. The name he's made for himself. So I see a big future also for Jake Carter, another guy we've got on for their first appearance. It's going to be good. You're going to enjoy that a lot. Let's get a few plugs and dates out of the way before we get to that. And then we've got some classic audio also to go over. So let's do that really quick. Remember, one of our partners here on the Dave Dynasty Show is PowerSlam.tv. They have over 100 independent wrestling promotions on there and over 4,000 hours of wrestling content. So you're going to want to go check them out. And if you go and sign up and use the promo code Dynasty, you will get 1 month for free. You can't beat it. Give it a try. Give it a shot. Check it out. Now, you can also find us out there on the road July 20th in Muncie, Indiana for DCCW, Delaware County Championship Wrestling. We will be doing the live stream and the commentary for that and checking out that show. It'll be a lot of fun. All your favorite stars for DCCW will be there. Pitbull, the champion. Vinny Vichetti will be there. Tommy Gage, Scarecrow, Cousin Cooter. It's going to be a fun show. So get there July 20th in Muncie, Indiana for DCCW. Also coming up September 7th in Chicago, Illinois, Ring of Honor will be returning to the area. And Dave Dynasty Show will be there. We will have some reports and updates, results, etc., from that show. We're coming off a show that just happened this weekend in Chicago for Major League Wrestling. Great show, the Kings of the Coliseum. And if you have not seen that show yet, some spoilers coming up here. But the new champion for MLW is Jacob Fatu, a guy that we have been tooting his horn for a long time, and he is their champion. He has got a huge future ahead of him. But Major League Wrestling returns to Chicago for their first ever pay-per-view. That's right. News broke the other day on Sports Illustrated. This is a big deal. MLW is coming to pay-per-view November 2nd in Chicago, Illinois. The Dave Dynasty Show will be there covering that show for you listeners. Now, let's get to some classic audio, and we're going to tie this in because this week we have some birthdays, some prominent Midwest wrestling birthdays that we want to make note of. And we're going to start kind of from the tail end and work our way back. On Friday, July the 12th this week, Jacques Goulet will be celebrating a birthday. Thursday, July 11th was the birthday for the Crusher. And now let's come back we have some classic audio to go with these next two birthdays. On Wednesday, July 10th, would have been Bobo Brazil's birthday. So here is from, I'm not sure when this is. I think this was from around 1980-ish, but I'm not sure. I have not found a date or who the interview is. But this is a cool little interview with Bobo Brazil. Some classic audio. Bobo's birthday this week would have been July 10th. So here is some classic audio from Bobo Brazil.
And possibly with the most popular wrestler that may have ever lived. Certainly a name that brings back a lot of memories, Bobo Brazil. Moments before a big match with his old nemesis, the Sheik.
You said it already. I had many, many matches with this man. I'm going to tell all the fans out there, he's tough cookie. He's about the toughest one I ever run into in the square circle. Anytime you get into the ring with the Sheik, against the Sheik, you have your hands full. And I know this. You can't turn your back one moment on this fellow, because you never know what he's going to do next. He's about the quickest one I ever forget.
Bobo, you're known for the cocoa butt. How'd you come up with that? And how many do you think you've given in your career?
Oh, I couldn't. That'd be hard for me to count. You know, the cocoa butt comes from a very, very good friend of mine by the name of Jimmy Mitchell. He used to wrestle at the Black Panther. He was going out when I was coming in. He said, Brazil, I'm going to leave you with something. I said, what's that? He said, a cocoa butt. And the cocoa butt's been very good to me. I've been all over the world. And I say I beat the most of my opponents with the cocoa butt.
I think you got a new saying there. I'm not sure. The cocoa butt's been very good to me. I think you ought to try that. Almost like a baseball saying, you know what I mean?
Well, you know, that's all I can say. I travel all around the world, and I put many of my opponents down. Jamming my head against theirs. And if a guy don't fall when I hit him, I know something's wrong. You know, I wrestled the Sheik one night over Hall. And I hit this guy about 3 times. He didn't budge. You know what I felt? I felt just like walking out of the ring. But something told me. He turned his back to me, and I hit him back in the back of the head. He went down.
You have anything a little different in mind for tonight?
Well, I don't think I have too much different in mind for tonight. I'm going to stand by the same old thing I've been using, because it's taken me all over the country this way. It's very good to me. So why change?
There you have it, a classic interview with Bobo Brazil. Again, his birthday this week, July 10th, or it would have been his birthday. A very cool little interview. Now, let's come back to Monday. Will be July 8th, and that would have been the birthday of Jerry Valiant, a great underappreciated wrestler. Lots of guys do not remember that Jerry went to New York with Johnny and Jimmy as the third Valiant brother and won the WWF tag titles because Jimmy was having some issues, some injuries and different things or whatever else. And very cool. So we actually have footage, not really from the Midwest. It is from the WWF. The three Valiants with Lou Albano right after winning the tag titles up there. This is a very cool interview, so let's listen to that now. The Valiant Brothers with Captain Lou Albano.
Did I tell you? Did I say I had a dream? Did I tell you for the first time in history, manager Lou Albano would have 8 World Tag Team Champions? Never been done before. I've come down right here before millions, thousands of people are proved that truly the Valiant Brothers are the Worldwide Wrestling Federation heavyweight champions, and rightfully so. As you know, I stood up here, McMahon, before you. I predicted, I hoped, I dreamed, I said it would be, and then finally, I proved myself. Ladies and gentlemen, just a minute, please. Just a minute. When I came out here some months ago, and I stated that the Valiant Brothers were the finest tag team that I have managed to date, you looked at me and you said,
all right, let's hear it from the Valiant Brothers themselves. Oh, you feel proud? You feel proud of yourself? Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Vince McMahon. Whenever you go home, they ask you, did you win or did you lose? Tonight, when I go home with my brothers, we're going to say we won. That's the bottom line, is do you win, did you lose? That's not the bottom line. What was mine? Bottom line is you win. That's the bottom line. but you win the match. You know something, Junior? You know something? The question is, did you win or did you lose? They don't ask you how did you win. They ask you, did you win? And I say right now, the Valiant brothers won. We are winners, baby. We're taking that goal home. We're taking it home. Larry Zbyszko and Tony Garea, you can cry, you can complain, you can picket, you can do this or that or that or this, but you lost. And the Valiant brothers won. It's that simple, Mr. Man. It's just a matter. Wait, go ahead. Larry Zbyszko. Shoulder block by Jerry Valiant in the groin. Unintentional, intentional, it doesn't matter at this moment. And then from there, we saw shout. I want to twist. I want to holler. I want to scream. I want to yell. Shout. I want to shout. I want to yell. I want to holler. Studio 54, maybe the Valiant. We've had enough of it. Someone in the place the Valiant brothers, victorious. Have a little water out here. Thank you for your time. Please, thank you very much for your time. Lou Albano, the Valiant brothers, incredible.
So there you have it, a very cool interview, some classic audio with the Valiant brothers, all three of them, Johnny, Jimmy, and Jerry Valiant, and Captain Lou Albano. Again, Jerry Valiant's birthday, July 8th, Monday, would have been his birthday. Lots of people forget the contributions of Jerry Valiant to that team. You always think of Johnny and Jimmy, of course, but Jerry, a very solid worker, very underappreciated, and his involvement with the Valiant brothers is underappreciated and often forgotten, but he was a prominent role in that group, especially when they went to the WWF, but Jerry was a huge star here in the Midwest for Dick the Bruiser. So there you have it, some birthdays this week, some classic audio. We are well underway into this episode and hope you're enjoying it, so stick around. We're going to take a quick break and tell you how you can follow us on social media, where you can find all those things, and when we come back, we will have that interview with that young up-and-comer, Jake Carter, so stick around. Hey, make sure you visit DaveDynasty.com. That is your central hub for everything within the world of the Dave Dynasty Show. From there, you can find links to follow us on all of our social media accounts. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube, which you will want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have lots of classic wrestling, every episode of the podcast, and other exclusive features there. While you're at DaveDynasty.com, check out the links to help financially support the show. That is how we keep this free every week. You can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/The Dave Dynasty and buy a shirt to help us out. PayPal.me/The Dave Dynasty to make a one-time financial contribution. Patreon.com/The Dave Dynasty to make ongoing monthly contributions. Or you can click our affiliate links for Amazon.com and HighSpots.com. No additional charge to you, but it helps us out. Thank you for your support, and check out DaveDynasty.com. Complete your experience with The Dave Dynasty Show.
And welcome back to The Dave Dynasty Show. I am your co-host, Ike Isaacs, and today I am joined by Jake Carter. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me. It's actually my first podcast ever, so I'm pretty excited for this one.
Well, that is fantastic. Well, I'm honored to be your first podcast. Well, I should say Dave and I, but But we're honored to have you on the podcast as your first podcast. Well, we'll go ahead and jump right into it then. So my first question, your first question ever on a podcast. It's a big one. Ready? Where are you from?
I'm ready, man. Where am I from? I'm from the west side of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, I know that was an underwhelming first question, but fantastic.
Yeah. You know, it took my breath away for a second. I was like, man, it's going to be big. This is going to be a good one.
You know, I'm really good at getting your expectations real high and then just letting them down real quick. I kid. No, but that's awesome. So did you grow up in Indianapolis, or is that where you just currently reside?
Yeah, man. I went to Speedway elementary schools up to like third grade. Then I moved out to Danville, where I eventually graduated high school. So I was always on the west side, but after high school, I lived in Los Angeles. And ever since then, I've still just resided on the west side.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. Some of that's real west side.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you, growing up in Indianapolis, of course, and just the west side of anything, were you always a fan of wrestling, or is that something that came on a little later in life?
No, man. I tell you, I've been a fan of wrestling since I was like in diapers. My had shown me photos of me like dressing up as wrestlers. It's been a thing then, to say the least.
Well, hey, that's a good thing then. You have a good past in wrestling and a good history. Well, let me ask you. Obviously, you can be a fan of wrestling all you want, but eventually, some of us take it to that next level, and you start wrestling. Did you know that wrestling was something you wanted to do?
Actually, it was during a school project in like, I want to say 8th grade, maybe freshman year, one of those two. But it was a project based on what we wanted to do after high school, what we wanted to accomplish. Like, if all of our dreams came true, where would we be? And, like, I struggled with it for we had a couple months to plan for it, but I struggled with it for weeks on even coming up with something. But I was watching WWE SmackDown. It was a Friday Night SmackDown at the time, and I remember it just clicked with me. I was like, this is what I want to do. I said, I love it. I habitually watch all the videos. I was like, man, why don't I just, like, give this a shot? So I immediately started looking up schools. I was under 16 at the time, so it might have been 8th grade. And I remember you had to be 16, or almost required you to be 18. Time when I was like, yeah, it just randomly clicked with me. I was like, why don't I just? But it took on a few years later to where I decided to actually apply it and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I need to start training.
Right. So, that's a great thing too. Is you caught on early, and you're like, you know what, this is something I want to do. Let's do it. So tell us, you take that step. You say, you know what, I'm going to be a fan, but also I want to be in the business. So how did you start training, and who trained you?
Man, I'm glad you asked that, because I'm going to go back to where I grew up in Danville. Braden Lee, I don't know if you know him or not, but he and I went to the same high school and graduated in the same class. Okay. Now, he and I were never, like, great friends. We knew of each other, but that was pretty much it, And so after we graduated, he did his own thing for, a few years, whatever, me as well. But every time WWE came to Baker's Life for a pay-per-view or a show, I would always see it. And it was super weird because it would always be at a merch stand. And out of all the 18,000 or 17, 15,000, however many people would go to those things, I always run into him. And one year I was telling him about how I wanted to start training, blah, blah, blah. Wished him well. Thought it was cool. See you later. The following year, the tables turned where he said he started training at a place down in Sheffield. I was going to go start training in a place down in Louisville, but my car was stolen like a month prior to the day I was going to start training. And so I had no way to get to Louisville to transport, 3 hours from me to Louisville. So that, plan went out the window. My new goal was to get a car to where I could make that happen. Mentioned ride with him to a training session, see if it's for me or not. And down in Shelbyville at New Era Wrestling Academy, where me and him went, graduated, and the rest is history.
Wow. So you went from carless, and you said somebody to start training.
Oh yeah. My friend, let me tell you.
See, and that's just you're just like, you know what? This is just wow. And man, that must have. First of all, I mean, who steals a car? Like, come on, man! Like, that's a lot of work to steal a car.
It was a brand new, it was a brand new car too. I didn't have it but 4 months. Even got used to the car, and right. Yeah, it was just stolen. And so first I was like, I took it as a sign. I was like, man, maybe I'm not supposed to go to lose, or maybe I'm not. Maybe there's something else waiting for me. Sure enough, something was waiting for me, but also got to take it as a sign. Is no matter what obstacle hits your way, you just got to if you want something, you'll find another way to make it happen, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yikes! So but against the odds, though, you still eventually got trained, and you still eventually got to pursue that dream. That one to be a wrestler. But man, that's wild. Someone steals your car and you're just like, I guess I'm not gonna wrestle, and then you, like you said, something else came along. But
Yeah.
that's wild though. So then, like you said, you eventually got trained, again against all odds. But when you train, part of training is, developing your technique, developing your style, finding a style that suits you. So if you had to describe to someone who has never seen you or seen you wrestle, how would you describe it?
Man, that's something, because I constantly watch wrestling, whether it be at a show or I'm in the back watching it, or like watching, tearing up outside of the ring there, or I'm watching on TV or whatever. I'm constantly inspired by all the different styles. It's like I want to take away a little bit from each if I possibly could. So if I can do a little bit of I love working out. I love going to the gym. I love lifting heavy weights. So if I could be, a big powerhouse, that's always cool. But I like to do a little bit of high flying moves too. The athlete that can do it all if possible.
Right. No, absolutely. And having an all around style definitely gives you the advantage in a lot of situations. You can do a little bit of everything. So who wouldn't want that on their show? Somebody who's got a little, I guess you can say, jack of all trades, if you will.
Right. Yeah, I definitely try to bring a personality there too. More than the moves for me. So, as I said, I just get inspired by all sorts of wrestling. If I could do it all, man, I'll work to get there for sure. Because as I said, I started training year and 9 months ago, and I've been taking bookings almost a full year come November this year.
So you pretty much hit the ground running right from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still a lot to learn, still lots of knowledge to obtain. But I'm grateful for every minute. It's one heck of a ride, to say the least. You've got to enjoy the ride to stay. You've got to enjoy it.
Right. No, absolutely. And now, I guess I kind of harken back just a little bit here. You actually said something. You said, you have to have the personality. And speaking of personality, you use the nickname As Real As It Gets. So tell us a little bit about that.
And As Real As It Gets, it stems from a few different things. The main reasoning or the main focus on As Real As It Gets is I just want to be the real deal. I want to be taken seriously. I don't want anything to hold me back. I'm coming against all odds here, and I just I'm just gonna do whatever I got to do to get to the top.
No, absolutely. If I have to get another car stolen, or
Now you're playing with my emotions, man. I love that car.
Well, I hope you didn't get the same car, because man, that would be really torturous just for somebody to nab that one too.
Yeah. Can't strike twice.
You know what? Knocking on wood. I have some wood here. I'm knocking on it for you.
I understand myself.
Right. But so to stop talking about car thieves, no, but you're with everything that you're doing, you're all the training that you've gotten to do, and you, like you said, you've been taking bookings and you've been just kind of, hitting the grindstone and really just powering through. You're really beginning to make an impact here in the Midwest. Do you feel like that swing in your career, beginning as your demand goes up?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding the question. Do I believe that now that I'm making a name for myself, that what now?
So that's kind of a weirdly worded question, but do you feel like because right now your career is in an upswing, do you feel like your demands are going up? Do you feel like, you're getting more bookings? Do you see that kind of your career growing up a little bit there?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what a milestone was for me recently, and it was actually when I debuted for Emerge Pro Wrestling down in Columbus, Indiana. I actually repped there for a good part of a year.
Oh, wow.
Because I started out as a referee I started getting bookings, and then I got out of the stripes, put on the wrestling gear. But when I first debuted for Emerge, that was when I was like, okay, things are happening. I was like, is this, because Emerge, I will hype that show up, is like one of the best that the Midwest has to offer. They have some of the greatest talent that goes to that show, and for me to be a part of that, I was like, man, I mean, that was really humbling and an awesome experience of its own. So for me to be booked every weekend, and that being the first Saturday of every month is a blessing to me. Like that's the first step right there. That was the first milestone where I was like, yes, this is awesome.
No, yeah, for sure. And like you said, milestones and, building upon, where you started, for sure. It's, eventually you'll get to that point where you're just like, man, I've done so much. But I guess something else that kind of goes along with, kind of breaking through those barriers and breaking milestones is that, you, like so many of your peers, you seem to have a really good grasp on branding yourself and, selling yourself as a talent. Was this something that was taught to you, or is this something that you've kind of just, had all along?
Man, as far as the whole branding thing, I don't know. I'm learning as I go. And I try to give credit to whoever helps me out through the process, but as far as the whole branding thing, I take that as a compliment, because sometimes I feel like I'm lacking and I'm really struggling with it. So I usually try to look for help or guidance in that field. But I appreciate that. That's awesome to hear. But as I said, I feel like that's almost one of my weak points as far as like a brand goes. But that's something I really plan to build and create for myself, so I can have like a dynasty I can be behind if I need it.
Right. No, absolutely. And and that's one of the things too, is that, believe it or not, in this world, it's very easy to brand yourself in a way, but it's also very hard, because, you can have all the social medias, you can have all the technology that we have nowadays, because, back in the day you had to send, VHS tapes to bookers and all that, but nowadays you just put up a YouTube video. So but it's like you said, it's kind of a weird process, but no, I mean, obviously it's working somehow. It's working for you in some way, some shape or form.
Yeah, and as I said, man, it's a blessing. It really is. I'm always willing to put the work in no matter what, but I definitely feel like I've been blessed already, and I'm really excited to see what happens the years to come. And yeah, about even YouTube. I mean, I created a YouTube channel recently, maybe 2 months ago, and I'm slowly putting matches of mine, full-length matches of mine on the channels when I obtain them. Sometimes I have a hard time getting people to record my matches. Usually I go to shows alone or whatever, but when I get full-length matches, they're up on that channel. So you can just type in, I can look on my phone, actually. I can't remember just type in Monster Carter, what it is, Monster_Carter after YouTube.com, and I believe my page will show up. Right, but yeah, we have some full-length matches on there. But yeah, it's getting the right people to see them too. That's the hard part.
Excuse me. No, yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the great things about YouTube. It's just a link, It's not like you have to package up a videotape or a CD and send it somewhere. You can just send that link to whomever. But it is all about, getting the right person to see it and, making sure that it always gets in the right hands, if you will.
Yes.
But, right now, and you've kind of mentioned this too, is that, in the Midwest, specifically Indiana, but also all other, parts of the Midwest, wrestling is, super hot right now. I mean, everybody's all really amped up for wrestling here. It's a lot of good stuff that's going on. So being part of that scene, do you pride yourself in being part of Midwest wrestling? Is this, is the Midwest one of your favorite place to wrestle, or, how do you feel about that?
Oh, you know what? The Midwest has some of the greatest wrestlers North America has to offer, I gotta say. The people I've met along the way, there's so many individuals that are so much better than me that I love to learn from, love to take time and ask questions. the Midwest, every match I'm in, I'm always learning something from somebody, or like there's always something to be passed down. And I don't know if it's the Midwest hospitality or what, but yeah, being a wrestler in the Midwest is where it's at. It's where I'm super happy to be. I'm super content, but I'm also, as I said before, I'm eager to learn, and if it requires traveling elsewhere, so be it. So, but being in the Midwest definitely has its perks. I love everybody that I share a locker room with. 9 times out of 10, I should say, and it's great. I love working in the Midwest, to say the least.
No, absolutely. And no, that's a good thing though, is that you do I've talked to a lot of people, young, old, retired, and everybody I've talked to always says, traveling is one of the best and worst parts about wrestling, but it definitely, like you said, it kind of broadens your scope and helps you learn a little more, and just, it's always a good experience traveling, that is.
Right.
You actually kind of mentioned this before. One other thing I kind of wanted to throw by you, is, having been trained and brought up in the Midwest, do you have anybody that you would cite as some of your biggest mentors, or anybody who's really helped you along the way?
Oh, you know what? There's so many, and if I could even, oh man, here we go. Okay, hope you're free tonight. Okay, so to begin, man, just a few right off the top of the head. I'm trying to go in chronological order here. We got, Chris Caliber, who is recently the Emerge Heavyweight Champion. Big shout out to Chris Caliber. That's my guy right there. Joshua Gatton, one of the best referees the Midwest has to offer. Mike Lovett, who is my head coach and trainer at New Era Wrestling Academy. And back to Braden Lee. Man, I would do anything for that kid. He helped me get introduced to the business. He introduced me to Mike and knew him. And so that guy, I mean, anything he needed, I'd do it for him. Let's see. I mean, we got, I should, you should have sent me this prior. I would have wrote all these down. I feel like I'm on top of the Grammys right now trying to give my thank you speech. But Braden Lee, let's see, we got a big shout out to, let's see, Congo Kong for sure. Star, that guy, he actually made my most recent pair of trunks recently, and they're awesome. If anybody ever that's listening and needs wrestling gear, Congo will hook you up. He's one heck of a guy. But he's also another great individual to learn from, travel with, ask questions. Let's see. Somebody I share a locker room with, man. I'm telling you, it's like the possibilities are endless. That's the thing about life, though, everybody knows something that you don't know, and you can always learn something from somebody. So, out of those few people that I named, I know there's so many more that I could name. As I said, in the moment, I'm not thinking of all of them right now.
No, it's all good, and those are some great people. I've talked to a handful of them. I know I've talked to Chris Caliber on a couple opportunities, and same thing with Congo, and they're all a great bunch of people. Obviously, some of them I've never met, but I'm sure they're amazing people, of course. But so I guess one other thing that we like to do on the Dave Dynasty Show is, obviously we're a wrestling podcast, but we also like to get to know the wrestler outside of the ring. So tell us. But so Jake, what are you like away from the ring? What do you do in your free time? You have any hobbies or anything like that?
Yeah, you know what? So I have a 9-to-5 job, like any other regular person, man. I just do gas construction. I repair a lot of gas for old install new services from old. Nothing to brag about, nothing to talk about there. But when I get off work Monday, home, get a quick meal in out of my 7 that I eat every day, go to the gym, leave the gym, come home, eat again, shower, and I'm sitting on the couch with my dog watching The Office or whatever else I can find.
Well,
lately. Seriously, that's outside of wrestling.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I can't blame you for watching The Office, but
yeah, 9 times out of 10, if I'm sitting on the couch watching Netflix, I gotta find Ben and Jerry's in my hand.
You know what? I can't blame you. That sounds amazing. Yeah, but that's funny though. Netflix is awesome. I love Netflix. I feel you there. I like Ben and Jerry probably a little too much, and I also like dogs. I have a dog as well. So that sounds like a good pastime.
Man, you gotta try it. They just came out with a new flavor. Ice Cream Sammy is probably the best one they have yet. You know, I was a mint cookies guy, or the Tonight Dough, but now they have something called the Ice Cream Sammy, and I'm telling you, if you like Ben & Jerry's, you need to get the Ice Cream Sammy.
I'll have to try it. I'm usually I'm either like what is it? The Cherry Garcia, like the old classic. That's a good one, or the cookie dough. That's my favorite, but I'm gonna try the new one.
Yeah, no, they're great, man. I mean, seriously, I'm eating at least 3 or 4 of those a week.
You know,
I eat really clean. I'm telling you, it's a big part of my diet. But other than that, I eat really clean. I promise. But that's my secret. That's my secret. Is Ben and Jerry's.
That's your secret, Ben and Jerry's. You eat enough Ben and Jerry's, you can be a wrestler. No, I kid. I wish that was the case. I wish that was the case. You know, Ben and Jerry's would be a wrestler. I'd be 10 wrestlers by now, probably. But so. So on a side note, you know, we've talked a lot about, you know, where you've been, where you're going, you know, how much Ben and Jerry's we eat, but for the, you know, right now we're in the midst of probably one of the biggest years in wrestling in a while. You know, there's a lot of explosive stuff happening on the independent scene. So for you, what are your goals for the remainder of 2019? What can we expect out of you for the remainder of the year?
Oh, of 2019 alone. Yeah, so the next 6 months. You know what? I'm actually booked until the end of, pretty much through the end of the year. You can see me at all the shows that I've been a part of, and every show I'm trying to bring something new. So if you ever want to come, I'm keeping my social media updated, my Instagram, Snapchat. I'm really fail at Twitter. I really need to up my game on Twitter to say I know I do. But Facebook, Instagram, those two are the main ones, and YouTube. But to catch up where I'll be next, Facebook and Instagram, just Carter. And you'll see, as I said, I'm trying to bring something new to every show. I'm trying to learn from different people, go to different atmospheres, learn different styles to where I could just bring a better product for the fans. So the rest of 2019, my goal mainly for myself is just get better. Just be better. Be better than the last match. Be better than the last training session. That's where I want to be. Now, I'm a 5-year plan. My definitely different from that. But as I said, I'm just enjoying the ride. I'm not trying to think too much into it. I'm just trying to enjoy the time, put the work in, and be the best that I can possibly be.
That's absolutely right. Hey, and that's all you can do. I guess one last thing before I do let you go. You've already kind of mentioned it, but I just want to give you a chance just to kind of shout out all your handles on social media, you know, your Facebook, your Instagram, and make sure everybody out there knows exactly where they can go to find you and what to search and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. My Instagram is monster.carter. Monster.Carter. That's where you can find me on Instagram. Let me see. I'm actually on my phone now trying to check it out. Updated, but after this phone call, you inspired me to up my game on that. It's pretty much the same, but it's monster_Carter. And then Facebook, you could just find me at Jake Carter. And I have Facebook where it's also just Jake Carter. And a profile. I try to keep the profile for, strictly friends and the page for wrestling related, but I get the two mixed up half the time because it's logged in on one or the other, so you might get me or the page. It doesn't matter.
You're like, it's a 50-50, so whichever one you get.
I run both of them, so it's the real me no matter what. It's as real as it gets either way. So
That's right. That's as real as it gets. That's right. Oh, gosh. So everybody who's out there right now who is listening to this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and go check him out on all these social medias, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube. Like I said, he's going to have to up his Twitter game. But of course, thank you so much just for coming on here, Jake, and giving us some of your time this evening just to chit chat about everything. And we really appreciate all the time that you've given us today just to get to know you better and learn more about your wrestling and what you're going to do.
Right. No, I can't thank you enough, my friend. This was it was an honor to be a part of your show, and for you to give me any part of your time on your show it means the world to me, seriously. So thank you for your time.
No, absolutely. Anytime at all. Anytime at all. All right, folks, you know what to do now. Like I said, you're going to go and follow him, but also, of course, you're going to want to support independent wrestling. I said it once, I'll say it a million times. Independent wrestling is the lifeblood of professional wrestling. Thank you very much, Jake, for giving us some time tonight. Hopefully we'll stay there and you stay safe, and we'll catch you later, all right?
All right, man. Take care. Godspeed.
If you are looking for the best books, DVDs, and posters on classic wrestling nostalgia, then you want to visit crowbarpress.com. There are literally dozens of titles there, including biographies of the likes of Bruiser Brody, Ole Anderson, Ivan Koloff, and of course, Dick the Bruiser, as we've spoke about here on the Dave Dynasty Show. You want to visit crowbarpress.com for all of your classic wrestling nostalgia needs. Again, that is crowbarpress.com. Hey, and there you have it, another episode in the books. Thank you to Jake Carter for coming on, and thank you for being here and for listening and supporting the Dave Dynasty Show in all the ways that you do. Feel free to reach out to us if there's someone you'd like to hear on the show, if there's someone you would like us to explore a little more and discuss, past, present, whatever it might be, a topic, as long as it's Midwest professional wrestling related, we'll give her a shot. So get a hold of us. You can email me at dave@davedynasty.com or reach out to us on any of our social media links. You heard that ad earlier on how you can do that. Next week, we have one of those episodes where we look back at a specific star from the past as we remember Ox Baker on next week's episode. It's going to be fun. We'll have classic audio and tell the story of Ox, talk about his career. Hopefully you will enjoy that. All of our history episodes are really a hit with them, so hopefully you will enjoy this one. Again, next week, we look at Ox Baker and remember him. Get out there to a wrestling show in your area. Support local professional wrestling. There are alternatives out there. Everybody likes to complain about the products they see on TV and everything else. So get out there and find a product that you enjoy and support it. And if not, if you can't find anything, well, then just keep looking back into the past with us and reflecting and remembering the history. Again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. But until then, in anything you do and wherever you go, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.